Hello, this is wmpyr. Okay, so this is kind of the continuation of the martial arts talk that I was having earlier with you guys in a previous video. And in that video, I tackled the question, are you training correctly? Which I said is perfectly legitimate question to ask yourself, especially in the world of solo training, where you're kind of on your own. And I answered it with something very, very basic. And in this video, I'm going to continue on with that. So I'm going to also mention something I didn't in the previous video and work into the next part from there. So another thing that is very important, and so that you know if you are training correctly or not, has to do with efficiency. So, regardless of martial arts style, no matter what style you're training in, the goal here is to become efficient. And if you are becoming efficient in your movements, in your techniques, your body mechanics is sound, then you are training correctly. It's as simple as that. I believe the Chinese uh, kind of say a similar thing. They focus on skill, kung fu. So what is skill? Skill, what do they mean by that? More rudimentary is to become efficient. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about efficiency. So uh, yeah, that is extremely, extremely important. So, for example, in the Filipino martial arts, you're doing something like the Heaven Six, and when you first start off and you're trying to after you've memorized it and after you put in some practice, now you're trying to become like fast with it. So you try to go as fast as you can with it, and you're going to notice that you go fast, you put in the speed, and then there's other times where you almost have to come to an abrupt stop, and then you have to go fast again, so it's not smooth. And then as you keep at it and don't give up and just keep putting the dedicated practice, you're going to notice that you start becoming efficient. You start becoming smoother and better at the movement, and that keeps going and going, and you could do that for the rest of your life. There's no end, but you become more and more efficient, more smoother, your body mechanics become better, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, but this is the dilemma for all martial arts, because all martial arts, regardless of style, pretty much do that. That's what they're looking for. So whether it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whether it's wrestling, whether it's Taekwondo, Karate, Aikido, whatever style it is, your goal is to become efficient, to have good body mechanics and make your techniques to where you're doing it as efficiently as possible. You're not wasting energy. You're not putting in all this excessive force that you don't need. It's just natural and smooth, and it's naturally fast, and that's the whole idea. The movement is very natural. It's quite relaxed. That's the whole idea there, right? But the dilemma is a street situation, whether it's a street fight, a self-defense, or we could even put in full contact fighting, is not. It's not natural to be efficient. So you don't go into a street situation and try to be efficient. That doesn't, it's not natural there. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it. In fact, you want to do it, but if you try to do it, there's a disconnect there. And because there's a disconnect, people have a hard time. And then this is perhaps one of the reasons why you see people that have done martial arts for a long time, a couple of years or whatnot, and they get into a street fight and they get destroyed. They get destroyed because even though their techniques and movements are very, very efficient, they're highly proficient, to apply it into the chaos in the rough, violent, dynamic world of a street situation, once again, there needs to be a connection. You can't just instantly go smooth and efficient and excellent body mechanics in there. It's you're just going to get run over. That's what's going to happen. Um, and then a clear example I could give you guys is there are some MMA fights and kickboxing matches where this happens. Um, Normally, in a sport fight, the two contestants understand that they need to be efficient. And in order to beat the person, they need to be efficient because if they go all out, it's not going to work. They understand that. So usually they both start off trying to conserve, trying to manage their energy output and trying to be as efficient as possible. They start off that way right away. So a boxer might even say within the first 5 rounds, that's what they're really working on. Um, so you can see kickboxers have that kind of mentality too. They're just trying to pace themselves. There was a famous kickboxer, women's kickboxer, um, entered the UFC, and she had trouble adjusting because in the UFC she never turned up the gear. She was just being relaxed the whole time, and she lost the decision. And she felt like I was ready to go another round, but the match ended. So that's because she was used to that, you know. But sometimes there are fighters that come in and they're able to just have that street fight mentality in the world of sport, and they're able to overrun the other person and just win that way. It's not often, but it happens. It's not super rare to where there's only like one or two examples. No, it's a lot more common than that. It can happen 100%, especially when the other person is expecting a relaxed, or by relaxed it's still intense, but an efficient match, and the other person just, what I call it is they overrun you. They plow you down. That has happened. So you can see examples of that in sport matches. Like I said, it's not common, and that's why they don't do it, and that's why they're discouraged to doing that, but it can totally happen. So that's the exact same idea, is if you become very, very efficient with your techniques, let's say your Heaven 6 is super smooth, and then you're in a street situation, you're going to get overrun. That's what's going to happen, right? Chances are. So that alone is not enough. There's, like I said, there is a disconnect. So the first thing is, even though you want to be as efficient, and in my YouTube channel, I always encourage body mechanics. In fact, I encourage body mechanics before self-defense. People always want to learn self-defense, and I say the honest answer is that self-defense is not easy. Chances are your opponent is bigger and stronger than you are. Chances are they catch you in a bad situation. Chances are they ambush you. So all these things are stacked in their favor, and it's all bad for you. And you never done martial arts before, or you're never really athletic, or you're a regular person and you want self-defense skills, it's a tough order. So realistically, I say get the body mechanics first. Become efficient first. That's a good thing because you're going to use it in self-defense. You're going to need it in self-defense, especially if the other person is physically superior to you are. Even if you started lifting weights from now on, how can you catch up to someone that's naturally strong? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. And if you can't, you 100% will need skill. So in that case, let's start with skill, okay? So let's start with body mechanics. So that's what I do first, and earn your way towards self-defense. Let's make your possibility, your chances better and better and better, to where until maybe you can actually defend yourself against certain people. So that's the goal there, and that's why I teach the body mechanics. So please understand the dilemma there. Know that you're working towards efficiency, but a real situation that you can't just go, I'm efficient, I'm super smooth, I can now defend myself in the street. That's not the way it works. Like I said, it's almost a contradiction. Okay, that is dynamic and violent, and it's a fight in nature is anything but efficient in some ways if you think about it. So it's not the most natural thing as far as efficiency goes, but it's part of nature. It happens. It's kind of like a storm. It does happen. Um, it's very violent. So uh, please know the difference there. And then once you can understand that, you're going to take, hopefully, you will start taking means to adapting your efficiency for the very inefficient situation, if that makes sense. Because the most natural thing to do is to hold your breath and just fight back with everything you got. And I'm telling you, if the opponent is bigger and stronger than you, it's probably not the way to go. Especially if they're just messing with you and you do that, they may go, whoa, whoa, chill out, and they may back off. But I'm talking about a situation where it's a lot more severe than that. They want to do you harm. And if they're committed to doing you harm and they're bigger and stronger than you are, then if you fight back like that, chances are then you're playing right into their strengths. So the reason why they have this kind of lifestyle is because they know that they're a tough guy. And what do tough guys do? They fight like tough guys. They do tough man stuff, brawling. So you fighting back that way is you are brawling back. And once again, that's their fight. That's what they're good at. So please keep that in mind. Thank you for listening, and take care, folks.